the princess who ruled with love, once upon a time, in a land full of gold and power. There was silence in the hearts of the people. Asterisk the streets were crowded, yet cold. Asterisk faces were tired, eyes carried burdens, and laughter had long disappeared. Asterisk there were tall palaces, but the dreams of people lay crushed under their own weight. Asterisk. In this very kingdom lived a princess. Her name was Margot. But Margot was no ordinary princess. She didn't wear heavy jewels, nor did she sit on a golden throne all day. Asterisk, she didn't crave for titles, applause, or attention. Asterisk, instead, her joy came from something far simpler, yet far more powerful: love, a heart born to heal since childhood. Margot would stand on the high palace balcony and stare at the city below. Asterisk, the narrow streets, the broken houses, the barefoot children. They called to her. Asterisk, she would often whisper to herself. Asterisk, a true queen isn't one who lives in the palace, but the one whose heart lives among her people. As she grew, so did her kindness. The royal court waited for her to take the crown. Asterisk, but she had a different dream. She said softly, I will sit on the throne only after I earn a place in every heart. The morning ritual. Asterisk, every morning, Margot would rise early, dress simply in a modest outfit, cover her head with a scarf, and quietly leave the palace. Asterisk, she walked the streets with a small bag carrying bread, medicines, and sometimes just flowers. If she saw a hungry child, she fed them. If she saw a sick elder, she sat with them. Asterisk, if she found someone crying, she listened. Not like a ruler, but like a sister. Asterisk, the guards were puzzled. The ministers frowned. Asterisk, is she a princess or a servant? They whispered, but the people smiled and said, she is not just a princess, she is a blessing from above. The rainy day. Asterisk, one day, dark clouds covered the sky. A storm rolled in and heavy rain poured across the kingdom. People ran into their homes. Markets shut and silence filled the city. Asterisk, but Margot. She picked up her scarf and walked out into the storm. She walked toward the poorest part of the city. There, in a crumbling hut, a little boy was burning with fever. Asterisk, his mother had nothing. No food, no medicine, not even hope. Asterisk, Margot bent down, tore a piece of her scarf, wiped the child's forehead, and ran back to the palace to bring medicine. Asterisk, the very next day. Stories spread everywhere. Asterisk, the princess walks in storms to carry our pain. Seeds of change. Asterisk, that night, Margot sat in the royal hall and asked the king, Asterisk, father, can we not build a hospital where no one is turned away? He smiled, knowing well she wouldn't take no for an answer, and so a hospital was built. Asterisk, then a school, then a home for orphans, then a skill center for women who had lost everything. Asterisk, the city, once tired and grey, began to bloom. Asterisk, one young boy, entering school for the first time, whispered, Asterisk, my mum says the princess is like a prayer. Not asked for, just gifted. Opposition and trials. Asterisk, of course. Not everyone was pleased. Some ministers and nobles grew angry. She's weakening the power of the court. Asterisk, she's making herself too common. They warned the king. But Margot stood firm. Asterisk, power means nothing if it does not bring peace. If love makes me common, then let me be the simplest person alive. Her courage silenced them all. A special day one day. The entire city received an invitation. They were called to the royal palace for a grand celebration. Nobody knew why. When the gates opened, the people were stunned. There were no guards, no luxury, no gold, just flowers, food, music, and smiling faces. And in the center stood Margot, still in her simple dress. No crown, no jewels. The king rose and announced, "Today, I hand over the throne not just to my daughter, but to the one who rules hearts." And just then, an old woman stepped forward. She held a crown not made of gold, but of flowers and thread. She gently placed it on Margot's head and said, "You gave us more than a queen ever could. This crown is from the people whose lives you touched. A queen without a throne." From that day forward, Margot became known as the Queen of Love. She didn't rule from a throne. She ruled from the hospital beds where she comforted the sick. From the school benches where she sat beside orphans. From the streets where she held the hands of the forgotten. Her love was not soft, it was strong. It changed laws, healed families, rebuilt broken dreams. And even though she had the power of 1,000 kings, she never lost the warmth in her voice or the smile in her eyes. She taught the world a new kind of rule with kindness, lead with listening, win with love. The end that never ends. Years passed. Margot's story became legend. Even now, when mothers put their children to sleep, they whisper, once there was a princess who ruled with love, and the children ask, does she still live? The mother smiles and says, yes, in every heart that still knows how to care.